I'm ranking the entire WWE roster from worst to best using these 4 criteria to figure out who the true GOAT of the WWE is in 2025. Starting off with superstars 66 through 60. Similarly, we have numbers 59 through 50. We're talking about superstars again who have practically done nothing this year, barely any wins, pretty much jobbed out this entire year. So for that reason, we're moving straight on to the top 50. And starting off pretty decently, we have number 49 in Rusev. Rusev was a somewhat anticipated return in 2025, and whilst we did get the return of Rusev, we did not get exactly what we wanted as fans. As of Rusev's return, we've not really seen anything particularly special from him. I honestly don't really care for a Rusev match, and if we're talking about anything memorable from him this year, it will be his multiple feuds with Sheamus, but other than that, I just don't really see the appeal right now to Rusev. Up next, we have the living legend Rey Mysterio. Now, whilst Rey Mysterio is considered the absolute GOAT to many people, I just don't think 2025 has been his year. I mean, we barely seen him. Any matches he has had, he's either lost or put someone over, or it's just been a random one-off tag team match. Does it pay me to put Rey Mysterio all the way down here? Absolutely. But I mean, we're talking 2025 Rey Mysterio. Not really much from him this year. Coming in at number 47, we have another one that absolutely pains me, and that's Shinsuke Nakamura. Someone with absolutely immense talent, but is just so underutilized by the WWE. I mean, Shinsuke is practically jobbed out this year. He comes back, fights Ilya Dragunov for the US title, loses that. He's had a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. Absolutely nothing happened from there. And overall, we have a great superstar, but just absolutely nothing appealing right now about Shinsuke. In at number 46, we have Eric Rowan. I absolutely adore the Wyatt Six. I love what the Wyatt Six are doing. I think, honestly, some of the best character work in the company right now. But as of right now, I think Eric Rowan is kind of the irrelevant member of the Wyatt Six. He's the one that doesn't really get any matches. He's not holding the tag team titles. He's kind of just been a backup character for the Wyatt Six as of right now. But I think certainly over the next few years, we will have Eric Rowan way higher on this list. Number 45 and 44 go to Tonga Loa and JC Mateo. And this is kind of similar to the Eric Rowan situation. Absolutely love the faction gimmick. I think both factions are equally incredibly over, but these are kind of just the two black sheep of the faction right now. They've not really held the titles. They're the two that are probably getting the least matches, although I will say JC Mateo is being booked quite a bit on SmackDown right now, but honestly, as a singles competitor, he doesn't have much more than a jobber role right now. But hopefully, again, if Bloodline 2.0 continue to wreak havoc on SmackDown, I think we have absolute stars in Tonga Loa and JC Mateo. Keeping the tag team theme going, we have 43 and 42 in Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns. If I was doing this ranking last year, they would have ranked much higher as they were the tag team champions, but as of this year, not really any momentum, not really many wins. They have kind of jobbed out, even having quite a few matches on WWE's main event. However, we cannot deny the in-ring ability of the tag team of Motor City Machine Guns. At number 41, we have another member of the Bloodline 2.0, and that is Tala Tonga. I feel like the reason Tala Tonga ranks a little bit higher than JC and Tonga is simply for his character in and of itself. I think we've got a slightly more powerful character. I mean, the fact that he's 7 foot plus whatever they build him at certainly makes him an intimidating member of the Bloodline 2.0. And honestly, I think he is one of the best additions we've seen to the Bloodline in a while. Coming in at number 40, we have another living legend, and that is the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. Again, someone in his prime, absolutely incredible, has won it all in the company. But 2025 performance, we cannot deny the absolute bangers he does put on Monday Night Raw. I think a Sheamus match is undeniable in its quality. But overall, 2025, come on, we've not got Sheamus in his prime anymore. Coming in at number 39, we have one of the most random gimmicks that has appeared in the longest time, and that is El Grande Americano. We're talking about a superstar who we don't even know the true identity of. Some claim Omos is behind the mask. Some claim it is an 1,000-year-old Spanish legend from Mexico. I mean, I don't think we will ever know. But one thing to say is that El Grande Americano has been quite an interesting character on the roster this year. It's been a breath of fresh air for the WWE roster, but honestly, nothing particularly impressive, and that's why we have him at number 39. Number 38, we have Grayson Waller, someone who has been very saved by the New Day. I think prior to the New Day, no one really cared for Grayson Waller this year, but the second he was adopted by this heel New Day, I think we've had absolute gold. And I think this whole New Day thing, which I will get onto later in this video, has been absolutely incredible to watch. But honestly, he has been a pleasant surprise in the New Day, and I honestly wouldn't mind if they kept him for a while. I think he's been very entertaining. Number 37, we have the second half of the Street Profits. Again, the reason I think I put him slightly higher than Angelo Dawkins is he's just a bit more athletic, a bit more entertaining to watch in ring, and just overall, who doesn't want to watch Montez in the ring? As for 2025 accolades though, nothing really stands out. They did start the year off, however, as the tag team team champs, which does bring their rank up a tiny bit. But other than that, pretty forgettable tag team this year, honestly. At number 36, we have Damian Priest. This might have a bit of mixed reactions because Damian Priest is a tricky one to rank. On one hand, he is this like monster on the roster. When we get a good Damian Priest feud, the feud does slap. But I just feel like Damian has fell a bit flat this year. I think since leaving the Judgment Day, honestly, I don't think we've really seen peak Damian Priest anymore. But hopefully this whole Rhea Ripley Damian Priest connection might reinvigorate prime Damian Priest. At number 35, we have Carmelo Hayes. And I'm excited to talk about this man because he is your new United States champion. Now, the thing is, I made this list. Carmelo Hayes won the title yesterday. So I don't really know what to do here, but I'm going to have to stick to my word as I did practically make this at the end of the year. But yes, we have our new United States champion in Carmelo Hayes. That alone pushes him up 10 spaces. But if we're taking him, 27th of December and below, I think he very much does fit this place as someone who is kind of jobbed out on SmackDown. I definitely don't want to call him a jobber, but obviously I don't think he's really won a whole lot of matches clean. But again, we have someone who looks incredible in ring, definitely working on his promo skills, and I do actually appreciate the character of Carmelo Hayes. I think over the next few years we're gonna have a top superstar in Carmelo Hayes. Number 34, we have JD McDonough, and kind of pains me, similar to Carmelo Hayes, to put him this low because these are two people who, particularly JD McDonough, who absolutely put on bangers week after week. I think JD McDonough honestly might have been on every single episode of Monday Night Raw this year. This man has worked incredibly hard, and the thing is, he doesn't just show up to Monday Night Raw to put on a regular match. Week in and week out, this man puts his body on the line. I don't think there is a JD McDonough match that I would have personally skipped this year. I think he's been incredibly entertaining. Obviously, being in the Judgment Day is a huge perk. I think his work in there has been good. Obviously, been tag team champions, but I'm intrigued to see if JD can have a solo push over the next few years. Coming in at 33, we have Tama Tonga, and we have almost made it through the whole of the Bloodline 2.0. Whilst I'm not the biggest fan of putting members of the Bloodline all the way down to the bottom, I think individually we've not really seen anything from these characters. I think the most they've really done at this point is stand behind Solo Sikoa on like an entrance or in a vignette and just kind of stand there looking all eerie. But I mean, if we're talking about what we've seen from them in ring or what we've seen from them, individual character work, we've just not really seen much from Tama Tonga. At number 32, we have someone who has been the hottest debut in the company in a very long time, and that is El Zero Miedo. Come on now, we're talking about Penta. We are talking about someone who has taken the division by storm. I don't think there's anyone who has come on the roster this hot, had this incredible of matches. Overall, I'm just incredibly excited to see what the WWE do with Penta. The only reason I can't put Penta higher at this point, we've not had a whole lot of actual character work from Penta this year, not really any storylines, and of course no singles titles. But hopefully in 2026 that should all change and Penta should be much higher on this list. Now at 31 and 30, we have another tag team in the Wyatt Six, but this time we do have the tag team champions, and for that reason they do make it up higher on this list. I've already spoke about the Wyatt Six, incredibly entertaining. I think honestly one of the best gimmick factions out there right now. I think they do their job incredibly, and you know what, something that I think is incredibly slept on is Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis are an absolute treat to watch in ring. I think their in-ring ability is absolutely slept on since they've joined the Wyatt Six faction, but I think as two individual superstars, I think they are incredibly talented and have a bright future on the main roster. At number 29, we have another incredible return to the WWE, and that is Aleister Black. Someone who maybe has one of the best potential gimmicks in the company right now. Somebody who is incredibly technical in the ring. Someone who has the best entrance on Friday Night SmackDown, but someone who just hasn't quite found their push yet on SmackDown. But I think what they're doing with Zelina and Aleister Black should absolutely take him to that next level, but I think we have huge potential in Aleister Black on SmackDown. 28 and 27, we have DIY, the team of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. I think I speak for us all when I say they absolutely did hit their peak in 2018, 2019, heck, even 2017 NXT. I think Black and Gold NXT will, I don't want to say it will forever be their peak, but I think it's going to be very hard for them to match that on the main roster. And given how they're being booked right now, I'm not quite sure if they will reach those heights again, but only time will tell. Coming in at number 26, we have Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is someone we've not even seen for practically the entire year. He was a superstar that came into this year incredibly hot. I mean, he had that Winged Eagle title. He had that incredible ladder match with Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and then he just fell flat. He came out injured. He was meant to go into a hot feud at WrestleMania, and I think that would have propelled his career immensely, but the injury did mean that Kevin Owens' push did fall a bit flat, and honestly, it is a bit of a shame because I think we would have got a good year out of Kevin Owens, and for that reason, I can only keep him this far down the list. Ooh, this is a hot one. At 25, we have the megastar LA Knight. You know what? This is the first superstar that I actually want to talk about a bit in detail. LA Knight is someone who is absolutely adored by the fans. Everyone absolutely loves LA Knight. However, I will say personally, it's not that I don't get the hype, but I just don't think there's enough substance to LA Knight personally for him to be in this world title picture yet. I really don't think he is the world champion material that a lot of people claim he is. I will go to the stereotype that a lot of people put on LA Knight, and that is that he's like a stolen Steve Austin and Rock like merged into one. And I do kind of agree. I feel like we've not got an authentic gimmick in LA Knight. I don't feel any authenticity in any promos he cuts in his character in and of itself. In terms of in-ring ability, I don't really care for an LA Knight match. I don't think there's any LA Knight matches, especially one-on-ones, that have stood out as incredibly amazing or unique or just anything stand out. And LA Knight overall as a character is just a bit of a generic Attitude Era wannabe superstar in my opinion. Coming in at 24, this pains me to say, we have maybe one of my favorite superstars of all time in The Miz. I mean, he's playing the veteran role incredibly well on the SmackDown roster right now. I mean, you can't disrespect what The Miz is doing for the company right now, but come on, it's not Prime Miz anymore. I've got to accept that, even though it does pay me to see him lose every single week on SmackDown. I think we've all got to accept that The Miz is currently just putting everyone over on the roster, and more praise to him for doing so. At 23, we have the Beast Brock Lesnar, a man who has consistently just been the top main eventer for the company. There is not really much bad to say about Brock Lesnar. I think it's just the fact we've not really seen him very much. He shows up about twice a year. If he showed up more regularly, maybe we could put him a bit higher on the list. And honestly, that's not a criticism on Brock Lesnar not showing up. I think him being a part-timer is what adds so much value to his gimmick. But I mean, when Brock Lesnar shows up, we've got a heated rivalry. We've got an incredible match. He is the most intimidating, overpowered WWE superstar you could possibly have. Coming in at number 22 and 21, we have the new heel New Day in Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. And I did touch on this with the whole Grayson Waller thing early in this video. This is one of the greatest tag team gimmicks I've seen in a long time. I am adoring heel New Day. I think all of their work has been incredible all the way back, you know, from WrestleMania up until now. They've been nothing but entertaining. Whether they've been given the platform or not, whether they've been given titles, whether they've been given matches, they've worked with what they've been given, and they have created absolute gold out there every week on Monday Night Raw. But the thing that I love about the New Day the most is outside of the ring, outside of Monday Night Raw. If you look at their social media, if you look at what they're doing in interviews, in everything outside of the ring, they have been absolute gold, pushing their gimmick at absolutely any chance they have to do so. There's just no denying that the New Day are one of the greatest tag teams on the roster right now. Now we are entering the top 20, and here is where you will see all of your favorite superstars, and here's where things get very, very tricky. Coming in at number 20, we have Bronson Reed, a career incredibly saved by Seth Rollins and the Vision. We're talking about someone prior to the Vision. He was a powerhouse. He was great. He had the tsunami, but was he a main event attraction? Was he even a pay-per-view superstar? I really was not invested in Bronson Reed prior to this whole gimmick, but now we're talking about the Vision Bronson Reed. He's hot right now, man. He is one of the hottest heels on the roster right now. I adore his matches now, honestly. I think his match with Roman at Clash in Paris was incredible. This whole tsunami finisher wiping out people for like a year, I think is incredible. Just being all of these great people has really made him a believable gimmick in 2025. He looks the part. He is the part in ring. He's the powerhouse of the Vision, and I think overall he is an incredible superstar with a surprisingly bright future in the company. Things are about to get controversial. We have main event Jey Uso, a superstar this year that has polarized the wrestling community. Some say he has been on fire this year, and some say he cannot wrestle to save his life and he is the worst superstar on the roster in 2025. Now, whilst both statements are equally fair in their own rights, I think Jey has been pretty decent this year. I will first touch on his in-ring ability, which is the main critique people have about Jey Uso, and I can agree with that. I don't think Jey Uso is the best in the ring. I think he's just okay in the ring. I don't think he's terrible. I think he does enough to get by. I think he is a superstar that can main event with his in-ring ability, but it won't be a main event that anyone's talking about anytime soon. If we're talking gimmick-wise, if we're talking look-wise, if we're talking entrance-wise, maybe number one in the company right now. There is no one, in my opinion, that looks cooler than Jey Uso. There's no one that has a cooler entrance than Jey Uso. There's no one that's gear looks cooler than Jey Uso. There's no one that the crowd gets behind more than Jey Uso in 2025. So I think besides moveset, we have a pretty perfect WWE superstar in Jey Uso. It is just a bit of a shame that he's not been matching it in ring this year. At number 18, we have the badass Bron Breakker. Another career absolutely saved by Seth Rollins and the Vision. Either way, Bron Breakker was going to do incredible on the main roster, but joining the Vision has done something to Bron Breakker that we probably did not expect Bron Breakker even had in him. We've unleashed a dog in Bron Breakker, and honestly, people forget how insane of a year Bron Breakker has actually had, going into WrestleMania, Intercontinental Champion, having a crazy run before that, and then obviously joining the Vision, main eventing pay-per-views, going up against the likes of Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, like you name it. Bron Breakker has faced and annihilated your favorite superstar this year, and I think this whole Vision situation will push him to be a world heavyweight champion, honestly, over the next year. Number 17, we've got someone who has sneakily had a very, very good year, and honestly, just one of the most entertaining superstars on the entire roster. We have R-Truth. I think the whole John Cena retirement tour has meant that R-Truth has been given a second life this year. He's obviously faced John Cena in the main event at Saturday Night's main event. He's had some of the most memorable segments this year, and the craziest part is you can't even sleep on R-Truth in ring. And I think at the end of the day, what people forget is that WWE is an entertainment business, and R-Truth is entertaining, whether that be in ring or out of ring. I don't think there is a single R-Truth segment or R-Truth match that the people wouldn't want to watch. At number 16, we have the leader of the Bloodline 2.0, Solo Sikoa. I think between dominating as this just incredibly feared leader of the Bloodline 2.0 to also this super funny, unserious side of Solo Sikoa, he's actually had a very, very good year. And we also need not forget that he was actually United States champion this year as well. So that is very much bonus points to his 2025 performance. I think this year we've had the most believable version of Solo Sikoa, an incredible leader of the faction. And I just really like how versatile he is, from being this super feared mega villain all the way to this unserious, funny character. I think Solo Sikoa is someone who is definitely becoming a main event caliber superstar, and I think this whole gimmick will only continue to grow. At number 14, we have another living legend, but this is not just your average living legend. This is someone still in their absolute prime, even in 2025. Randy Orton as a superstar is undeniable. From facing John Cena back in Backlash, to facing Joe Hendry at WrestleMania. I mean, Randy still does it just like he did back in 2005. I don't think there has been a single superstar in the history of pro wrestling who has been this consistent for this long than Randy Orton. And the only reason I can't rank Randy Orton in the top 5 is because he's not really done anything in 2025 that's particularly notable. He's not won any titles, but we're talking about a forever Mount Rush superstar in Randy Orton. Number 13, we have Ilya Dragunov, someone I was so happy that came back in the middle of this year, and never in a million years did I think, first of all, did I think Ilya Dragunov was even coming back, but second of all, did I think he was going to come back and immediately win the United States Championship. I think that was the best move they could have done. Adored Ilya Dragunov as the United States Champion. I don't think there is a single flaw about the superstar of Ilya Dragunov. We're talking about someone who week in, week out, 5-star matches. I'm not talking about good matches. I'm talking week in, week out, we're getting 5-star match of the year quality matches from Ilya Dragunov. He hits hard. His in-ring psychology is incredible. His entrance, even without pyro, is incredible. The gear is just 10-10. He cuts some of the most believable promos, and overall, just his whole character and what he stands for is such a powerful gimmick, and I think we've got a future world champion in Ilya Dragunov. At number 12, we have the phenomenal AJ Styles, someone who low-key had a pretty hot year this year, currently holding the tag team championships with Dragon Lee. Incredible match, running it back with John Cena. And let's not forget the beginning of this year, just infinite back and forth between Karrion Kross and AJ Styles. I mean, we can laugh at how long it dragged on, but at the time it was actually very, very good, despite the fact that it led to absolutely nothing. Yeah, AJ Styles, one of the best in the ring, future legend, future Hall of Famer. Not a bad word to say about AJ Styles. Coming in at number 11, we have Uncle Howdy, a gimmick that's kind of been loitering in the background, but some of the best character work on the roster. Not even some of the best, the best character work work on the roster. This man is making mini movies every single week on SmackDown, and people low-key aren't talking about it enough. The promos he is making are literally movie quality. He has just these underrated storylines kind of brewing in the background, and I think it's only a matter of time before we see Uncle Howdy at the top of the company. I think they're definitely playing the long game with Uncle Howdy. At number 10, we have Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is the people's favorite. People definitely did turn on him like mid-United States Championship run, and to be honest, I'm part of the Sammy Hogan movement. I think he was a superstar, or still is a superstar, that can be overpushed from time to time. He's someone who doesn't really lose matches. He wins matches off people who, in my opinion, in kayfabe are much better than him, but who am I to say? Someone who always shows up in ring, always gives it his 100. Incredible run as the United States champion. Maybe one of the best mid-card title runs this year, if not the best. We got some of the greatest matches, even from, you know, young NXT superstars like Javon Evans. Nonetheless, he's had an incredible 2025. Coming in at number 9, we have someone who the people have been begging for a world title for maybe the past 10 years now. Literally ever since he vacated that Universal title way back when it was created. And that is Finn Balor. Finn Balor is one of the greatest on the roster right now. Judgment Day has done him worlds of wonder. Incredible tag team champion. Incredible matches every single week on Monday Night Raw. The gimmick is 10-10. Aesthetically, Finn Balor is him. I mean, that man could slice your face in half with that 8-pack. I think on the Red Wave channel in 2026, we have to start some sort of Finn Balor movement, because there is no way without having a good world title run one more time. So make sure to subscribe to join this Finn Balor 2026 movement. We will make sure that Finn Balor wins the world title in 2026. Ooh, coming in at number 8, we have the current undisputed champion, the current supposed face of the company, and that is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. A man that the WWE themselves would call the top dog. However, we as fans know there have been a plethora of superstars who have outdone Cody Rhodes in every avenue this year, and that is why Cody Rhodes is only at number 8 on this list. He's been a decent world champion, but Cody Rhodes is just not that guy for me. He's been good, he's had some great matches, he's had some great feuds, but I really think it is time for us to move on to someone different. Unless we get a major shift in things when Cody Rhodes does eventually turn heel, I think it is time to put that belt on someone else. I think Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, was not the person to dethrone Roman Reigns. I personally never wanted Cody Rhodes to dethrone Roman Reigns, and that's not to say that he is not doing incredible as a world champion. I just think there are a few people who should be at that top spot instead of Cody Rhodes right now. Number 7, we have the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. One of the most mean, dominating, hottest superstars on the SmackDown roster. When Jacob Fatu puts on a match, Jacob Fatu goes all out. Just one of the most intimidating, overpowering, dominating gimmicks in the company right now. And I don't even feel like Jacob Fatu has a gimmick. That's how good his gimmick is. I feel like he has the most believable gimmick maybe on the entire roster right now. He shows up in every match. His character work, his gimmick is incredible. His entrance theme music, just an all-round 10-10 superstar in Jacob Fatu. And I am very, very excited to see him back, and maybe he will be going for that top gold when he does return. Speaking of world champions, coming in at number 6, we have CM Punk, the best in the world, but not the best on this list. He is coming in at number 6. I mean, now that we're getting into the top 5 or 6 superstars, not really much bad to say about any of these superstars. Each in their own right have been pretty flawless this year, and I think CM Punk is just a bit at the bottom of an incredible bunch. CM Punk for me is someone that, whilst he puts on good matches and whilst his promos are great, I'm less interested to watch a CM Punk match than I am these other names in the top 5. I think he has good matches, but I personally don't think CM Punk is one of the best in ring. And as for character, I feel like we're missing a tiny bit of substance. We're not entirely sure, outside of being the best in the world, we're not really told who the character of CM Punk is, and I think he can maybe even sometimes come off as inauthentic. And just for that reason, that's why I'm putting him at the number 6 spot. Now, we are making it to the big leagues. We are in the top 5, and we are starting off very hot with someone who has maybe the most heat anyone has got this year, and that is Der Ring General Gunther. And when I say this man has heat, I mean I don't think there is anyone I've seen in a long time that has been booed out of the building as much as Gunther has been since beating John Cena at Saturday Night's Main Event. And I mean, even prior to beating John Cena, Gunther has been a top heel this year, absolutely dominating dominating on multiple occasions, be it as the world heavyweight champion, of course putting out Goldberg, putting out John Cena, ultimately being the top heel of the company, not to mention back-to-back 5-star matches every single time Gunther steps in that ring. We have an almost perfect superstar in Gunther at number 5. And then number 4, we have Dirty Dominic Mysterio. I don't know if Dominic Mysterio has been talked about enough this year, but Dominic Mysterio has been absolutely gold in everything he has done this year. I think we have the top gimmick in Dominic Mysterio, a low-key face of Monday Night Raw. Character work has been 10 in the Judgment Day, and I think Dominic Mysterio has become an absolute megastar in the company, and I think we have an absolute future world champion, future main eventer. And when I say future, I'm talking about next year. I think Dominic Mysterio is him and will continue to be one of the top in the company. Not to mention, he's practically held that Intercontinental title for the entire year, besides prior to WrestleMania. At number 3, we have the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. This is somebody for the past 4 or 5 years I would have put at my number 1 slot. But of course, Roman Reigns hasn't won anything this year, although still being incredibly on fire. And you know what? I think that is a good thing about Roman Reigns right now and where Roman Reigns is at. He does not need a title to be that top guy in the company. And I think that's always an incredible position to be in as a superstar. Roman Reigns' matches incredible. Aura on 10-10, entrance on 10-10, character work on 10-10. Again, we're talking another superstar who, in my opinion, is just an example of a perfect superstar. Speaking of perfect superstars, at the number 2 slot, we have Drew McIntyre. And I am incredibly excited to put him here at the 2 slot, mainly because I feel like he is someone who has not got his flowers this year. And whilst people have spoke about him, he has failed at every corner to win any sort of championship, despite having the best matches in the company, despite having the best feuds in the company, despite having the best character in the company. I mean, this recent little mini movie that he shot with Cody Rhodes is some of the best cinema we've had in the WWE in a while. And just this whole storyline has felt so incredibly real. And it takes a top heel and a top superstar to achieve this sort of authenticity. And I think Drew McIntyre is the embodiment of authenticity. And finally, we have made it to our MVP of the WWE in 2025. This is the superstar that above everyone else has outperformed in every class, in every category. And that is, of course, the architect, the visionary, the founder of the vision, Seth freaking Rollins. I think it is undeniable to speak about the sheer ability, the sheer performance Seth Rollins has put on in 2025, from having an incredible match on night 1, maybe match of the entire pay-per-view against CM Punk and Roman Reigns, all the way to winning Money in the Bank, having the moment of the year, cashing in on CM Punk after winning his world heavyweight title, and then going on to forming the vision, putting over these incredible new young talent. There is not one bad thing to say about Seth Rollins. I mean, the promos, the character, the new gear we get every single pay-per-view. Seth Rollins is just a superstar that not only doesn't miss, but cannot miss. And that's why it was so incredibly easy for me to put Seth Rollins at that top spot and earn the crown as the MVP of the WWE in 2025. If you agreed with this list, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, as I am trying to hit 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And make sure to check out one of these videos next.